Listen to my story. This may be our last chance.
Hello, hello, and welcome to another KP Talks video. This video is going to be very special to me, and it's not going to be a normal video. This is going to be about my Final Fantasy trading card game journey throughout all the years, and I've done a lot of reflecting since Worlds for lots of reasons, and it means a lot to me. The friends I've met, people I've met, um, everything I've gone through, the opportunities I've had, it means a lot to me. That being said, this isn't a video about the meta or about specific decks or things like that. So if that's what you're looking for, feel free to look elsewhere. But I would appreciate it if you, as it said, listen to my story. So let me set this up real quick. Okay. Should be good now. So I started in 2018. I started right between set 3 and set 4. That is when monsters were first introduced, was in set 4. Lopez taught me how to play the game with mono ice, which was his specialty back then. It was really easy to pick up the game that way because ice back then could interact at basically any moment with like the Shiva summon that doles 2. That was one of the common ways. And we were both Magic players. I don't know if you can tell, but like I have a Pro Tour Magic shirt on in that left picture. Uh, but we were both Magic players, and this game being similar to Magic, it was a lot easier to pick up than other games. And I was kind of in the mindset of, you know, this game's cheap. I might as well try it out. Lopez wouldn't play it if it wasn't good. It's that simple. So I'll give it a try. And I'm happy I did. I was still playing Magic very commonly back then. I was one of those grinders that traveled to a lot of GPs. For people who don't play Magic and don't know, those are like 1,000-person tournament events, somewhere anywhere between 1 and 2,000, sometimes a little bit lower, but roughly something like that. 15-round tournaments. I'd go to those things or go to Star City Games events, all that kind of stuff. I was a very big with like competition and things like that. So, and him introducing me to this game, my biggest like about the game was you can't be like land screwed or flooded. You can't have too many resources unless, in this case, you actually can with too many backups, but it's actually really difficult. And then also, if you have no backups, then you can still play the game. Those are the two things that I really, really liked about the game. So I went with it, and it got me a top 4 of the 2018 Crystal Cup. And let's see, I'm trying to think of, I was playing Wind, Water, Chocobos, I believe at that time, or standard units. I don't think it was Chocobo. Maybe I had a Chocobo in it, but I think it was standard units with Waka, or not Waka. Well, I had Waka in it with Ranger, Knight, Lena, and then I had all the backups that pumped, like Arc, Waka, and Maria. Actually, back then too, maybe we were disliked for this, but me and Lopez played our backups in front because we felt that a lot of times back then people lost to the abilities on your backups. I don't think we really do that anymore. At least I don't. But we felt that like a lot of people, this happens to all of us, including us. A lot of people, they lose to stuff on board because they don't read it or something like that. So, um, I know some people aren't gonna like that justification, whatever it is, what it is, but past is the past. And then also in 2018, Lopez won nationals. So it's pretty cool to see that the guy that taught you how to play the game wins the biggest, North America event of the year. So that was really cool. It was also a comeback situation. That was the format where Turbo Ice was a deck, and I felt like we broke it with, I believe it was Opus 1 Sephiroth, the 5 CP both players discard 2. I feel like a lot of the Turbo Ice decks were not playing that. I guess the story to go along with it is I really did not want to play the deck. And I even, my mindset was there's like 40-ish cards in the deck that are good, and I don't want to play it because there's 10 that's not. And if I ever draw those 10, then I'm just likely to lose. And then Lopez found a serviceable last 10 cards. We play tested a lot, and I even played him with cards like Dark Shadow Lord, destroy all 2-drops. I played him with some other cards too that were very specific at beating Turbo, but I would still lose those games. So if I'm playing these specific cards that can beat Turbo, and then I'm still losing, I'm not beating Turbo, I think at that point you're supposed to join them, not try to beat them. I'm not above trying to, I'm not above playing the best deck. It's that simple. I actually think that's kind of what me and Lopez are known for in this game, is for the most part playing the best deck available at the time. And we have a few things that we've innovated here and there, but I think a good strategy to do well is to play the best deck and know its ins and outs and know why every single card is in the deck. It's supposed to be a top 8 photo, I just realized, but if I remember right, so there's 7 people in there. I think somebody had to leave for a flight, which is why you only see 7. Man, I haven't seen a lot of these people in a long time. All right, let's go to the next. So as I said, I was like a MTG grinder. Here are just some pictures. It's still 2018. The bottom right picture, that's we played in a team event. It was oh boy, Ravnica, maybe it's Allegiance, I don't remember. It was some Ravnica set, where Jumpstart and Surveil were a thing. Gosh, I don't remember the set and all this stuff. Anyways, it was a sealed tournament, and that's my friend Josh in the middle and Spanky on the right. He has a local game store now, Spanky's Card Shop, and both these guys have made me a better person. Both these, I'm very grateful to have these as friends, and these people as friends. Josh is somebody that was really good at limited, and I was really good at constructed. And one day, I show up to Spanky's shop and just to get some cards, whatever. And they're having like a 2-headed giant event because the new set just dropped. But Josh's 2-headed giant partner bailed on him and didn't show up. So Spanky asked, he's like, "Hey, have you ever done this? You should go team up with Josh." And I didn't have anything to do for the rest of the day, and I've never done it before. And I didn't really know Josh at the time either. That was the first time really meeting him. I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And then we win the whole thing. So that was like super cool. And a lot of these Grand Prix that we traveled to, they weren't all constructed events. I don't know, maybe a third of them were limited. And Josh was really good at limited, and he taught me how to deck build and what cards were important and things like that, which is funny because, you know, in construct, you kind of have to know that kind of stuff too. Um, but he really opened my mind in terms of deck building. Uh, I felt like I was good at constructed, but his advice from limited also transferred really well over to my constructed skill set, and it was very, very helpful to, you know, go to the next level for Magic. And then I would help him out with constructed, so it was perfect for both of us. Spanky, I knew him. He a long time ago, a very long time ago, 15 years ago. I don't know, a very long time ago. He used to work at Cash, and I used to play at their locals every once in a while, and he would watch certain players who really tried to get better, and that was me back then. Um, and after the matches, he would speak with us and be like, "Hey, did you think about this line? Hey, did you think about that line of play?" And have really good conversations about the game we just played to try and help us get better. And a fun fact, uh, so you know, stores have like Pro Tour qualifiers and things like that. I think they're different now. RCQ stuff. I was the first person at Spanky store to qualify for the Pro Tour. That's really cool to me. So, and we're best friends, and it's awesome. Um, so we go back a long way. You see some giant cards here. A lot of times, the Kansas City group for Magic would travel together to go to these Grand Prix, and sometimes we go Friday early and play in the side events, and rack our tickets together to get a giant card. These two in specific, I actually got them individually. I think I maybe got 100 tickets from somebody. It was like 1,000 tickets per, but I was very, very close to getting it on my own. But these are the two I earned, and it's kind of awesome. Actually, if you go to Spanky's card shop right now in person, they are still hanging up, so it's kind of awesome, along with other cards, giant cards. And then in the top right there, that was my first Star City Games win. It's a Sunday win. Day one was the normal tournament. I didn't do so well, but day two was another tournament, and it was, I don't remember how many people there were, but it was a 9-round tournament, and then I won top 8. So it was in Indianapolis, and I brought a dredge for my friend, and last second he didn't want to play it. So I was like, screw it, I'll play it. And then I won the event with it. So that was kind of cool. So 2019, I'll start off with I'm still playing competitive Magic at this point. I budgeted to go to every single Star City Games event in 2019 because they were having the Players Championship, and it was like the biggest one they've had, and it was extremely popular and popping off, and it was awesome. The thing is though is like, so I went to, in the first 3 months, so like in 12 weeks, I went to 10 events. So out of the first 12 weeks, 10 of them I went out of town to go to these Star City Games events, and I did pretty well. And I was even on the top 32 leaderboard, which means you get buys if you're in top 32 leader, like how many you get points for how you've done with your results. If you top 32, you get one buy in these like large tournaments. These are like 15-round tournaments. And if you're in top 16 on the leaderboard, you get 2 buys. If I recall, that's how it worked. So I was even in top 32 for a little bit, but it was taking a lot out of me. And the formats at that time. I don't remember it specifically. I remember Arclight Phoenix just came out. Um, the formats were just like really awkward for me, and I wasn't really a big fan. And it was a lot of traveling. 10 out of 12 weeks is kind of crazy if you think about it, right? So, there was a week off of traveling from Star City, um, and it was the Petite Cup and the Petite Cup finals. The picture on the right. I got second at the Petite Cup in Kansas City, and then the next day was the Petite Cup finals, where I think it was the top four of every Petite Cup was qualified for the finals, and whoever won the finals got the first nationals invite. Um, and I ended up winning it, so I got the first nationals invite of 2019 for Final Fantasy. So, and I got that Moogle hat, even though I didn't had to adjust it. It didn't really fit me at that time. It just looked kind of silly. Um, so a couple things I realized right there after winning that event was I really had fun playing Final Fantasy. Like the first 3 months of the year, I played a ton of Magic. I was, going out of town, all this. And this one weekend of Final Fantasy, yes, I won, but even if I didn't win, I think I would have still came to this realization. I just had so much more fun than I did playing Magic. Final Fantasy was just a lot more smoother. The environment with people, everything. It was just so much better, and I was so much happier playing Final Fantasy. Um, and I also came to the realization of like, oh well, I won my nationals invite now. I technically don't need to play any more Final Fantasy for the rest of the year until nationals. I could go to all the Magic events still, and the thought of that was so dreadful. I did not want to do that. I wanted to play more Final Fantasy, so I did. And it actually kind of worked out because a couple months after this, I totaled my car, and all that money I budgeted went towards a new car. So, um, things work out for a reason, huh? Also, um, I think there were 6 events, 6 Crystal Cups, if I recall back then. Going to 6 events instead of going to like 40, that's a big difference. I won't be exhausted from all the traveling. Going once a month isn't that bad at all. So, and I would be enjoying myself. I also went to Canada for the first time. That's where the top left picture is there. I don't remember the place, but it was somewhere with like really, really good fried chicken. Like really, really good. Um, and then, oh, let me pull up one moment. I believe that is for Arizona in the middle. I'm gonna double check. It is, yeah, no, Midlothian, Virginia, not Arizona. Um, this was the event, if I recall, that Zaim, he went undefeated all the way until the finals, and then unfortunately he lost the finals. And he was on Mono Water, and then we drafted in top 8. Is that this event? That might be this event. I don't remember. There was an event where he went undefeated in Swords with Mono Water, and then drafted Mono Water in the top cut, and then or in day 2, and then so he was Mono Water the entire day. It was kind of funny. um, but that's still crazy. There are not very many people who've gone undefeated the entire tournament, so I'm pretty impressed that he was one away. That's kind of awesome. But unfortunately, he didn't get there. But it's still something I remember, and I'm sure some other people remember as well. Okay, I go to the next one, I guess. So, Gen Con. Actually, let me see. Oh, this was the year 2019 was the year where if you got first at an event, you qualify for Worlds. And um, so Zaim missing by one, unfortunately, he didn't qualify for Worlds. And he lost to Oki in the final, so Oki was qualified. At Gen Con, there's two different events. I don't remember the days, but one was constructed and one was limited. I'm sorry if you can hear background noise. So me and Zaim are playing in top 4. And on the other side of the bracket, it's Sam Prime and Oki. And in my mind, I mean, we already know, me and Zaim, if Oki wins, then whoever wins in our matchup, it gets passed down to the World's Invite does. I can't see what's going on with their match. We're in the feature match, but Zaim can. And Oki won, but I wasn't aware. And I end up winning our match in the final, or in the top 4 against Zaim. And he stands up. So I'm attacking for lethal, and he stands up, and I'm like, what? I'm confused. What's going on? And he comes over and gives me a hug, and he's like, congratulations, you're going to Worlds. And I burst in tears. I've never felt that way about a card game. I played card games basically my whole life. But him, like, I expected like a handshake or, things like that. But no, he stood up, walked over to me and gave me a hug. And he's like, dude, congratulations, you're going to Worlds. And that just made me so emotional. And, oh, I was going crazy. I unfortunately lost to Oki in the final. But, I mean, I got the Worlds invite, so it worked out. Also, in the constructed portion, Cody ended up winning it against Kyle McGinty in the final. And I remember specifically, I kind of got ego checked here, and I also ignorance got to me here. Because we, as you can tell, we had some like jerseys on, and there was like some teams and alliances and things like that back then. Me and Cody talked a lot about ice, and so did Lopez. This was YRP format with Veritas and things like that, and it was ridiculously the best like deck in the game. But Cody was like, no, I can beat it. And I was literally like, Cody, don't play ice. You're gonna throw away the event. Like, hand me your deck so you're not tempted to play it. He's like, no, I'm gonna play it. And then he won the event. So I just like bit my tongue, right? He proved me wrong and he earned his invite. And that kind of opened my eyes about like, hey, like this game, there's a lot more than just playing the best deck. If you're playing the best deck too, you got to recognize your weaknesses and understand like what other people are capable of doing. So Cody was, at that time, I would argue Cody and Lopez were the two best mono ice players. So this was a meta of where mono ice beat YRP, and it was like, it was very, very like eye-opening. This was a big weekend of emotions for me, and a lot of lessons were learned for sure. So this one's Arizona. I don't remember the store, but it's Arizona. I end up top 8ing. Me, Kyle McGinty, and Oki all played, and Aaron, and I think some other people that were Oki's locals. We all play this Moogle deck. I forget if it's 4 colors or 5. I think it was 4 colors. And he played Nidhogg. They played Nidhogg. I didn't. because I didn't want a dark card in my 4-color deck. And we're doing it the old-fashioned way. We had Moogle 11, Star Sybil, and then we had ice cards for Renoa and Sephiroth, 7-drop Sephiroth. And then lightning cards. We had like the 5 CP lightning that was ETB, like ETB and attack Dolaford, and then you can discard lightning to flicker it or something like that. And then some other stuff. There's Luminous Puma in the deck too. It was a full character deck. All 50 cards are characters. Like Hurdy was in there, Alua was in there. It was a crazy deck. And Oki ended up winning that tournament as well. I made top 8, and I'm there with Aaron and Ben. Yeah. Playing against Ryan there in that picture as well. Wearing that Moogle hat. Nationals. This was my first national. No, it was my second nationals. I was already qualified for Worlds. 2018 was my first nationals. I also played Turbo with Lopez. 2019 was the majority of my team showing up to nationals. And we felt pretty confident. This was the year where we had Mono Fire, and a lot of people also brought Mono Fire, and a lot of people also played, oh gosh, what is it called? The tomato. I don't remember the name, but it's a 5 CP monster that doesn't take like damage from some of their abilities, something like that. Or maybe it's exactly fire. It was supposed to be the fire counter for fire. I don't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, a lot of people played that, and we played a deck out version of fire where we just played a bunch of removal, and we only searched once with like saws, I think it was, and we would remove all their forwards and eventually deck out the opponent because they would most likely draw more cards or search more than us. If we had to attack, we could. But for the most part, we were trying to deck out the opponent. And then our second deck was a Fire Ice deck, which was just a tempo deck that we felt went pretty well in combination with the Fire deck as well. The picture on the right is me and Lopez, and we were the last 2 undefeateds in Swiss. So that felt really, really good. I conceded to him because of tiebreaker reasonings, and I already have my Worlds invite. So if there was a pass down of any kind of matter at nationals there, he would be the person to get the pass down because he's first after Swiss. So I conceded to him because I don't need it. I'm still playing to win, but the pass down doesn't matter to me at all. So, and then Sam Toole, I'm sure people have recognized him. I put him in here because I played him 3 times in that event. I beat him on day 1. And then we played in top cut. I forget when, but it was same as it is today where you have a winners losers bracket. I lost to him in the winners, and then I kept winning in the losers, and then he finally lost and faced me again, and then I lost to him in the losers. So he was my only loss for that weekend. And it was, it is what it is, right? And at that time, Sam was also qualified for Worlds. So, we're best buds. And we know it's going to be good games. Every time we play, it's really good games. But, credit to him for, I beat him the first time, but he got me the next 2. It's kind of crazy playing the same person 3 times. Now I think about it, this last year, I played Hara 3 times. I played him in Swiss and then upper and lower. Yeah. Same thing. It's pretty rare that you play somebody 3 times in a tournament. All right. Here are some more Worlds photos. I guess it's Worlds, not Nationals. This isn't everybody that was on the Worlds team, but this is the majority of us. And then we have Rice and Berkeley there. They commentated. Unfortunately, none of us made top 8, but 3 of us bubbled. Me, Oki, and Colin got 9th, 10th, 11th. So What we didn't know at the time, this is the first time they did it. That got us a nationals invite for the next season, the top 3 of Worlds from North America. So that was kind of cool that we got a freebie nationals invite off of this. It took the sting out of not making top 8 a little bit. Here's some more photos. So the top left is me playing against Shota. He's like the lead design for the game, and he's my favorite Magic player of all time. So it was an honor to play him in Final Fantasy. Top right, I played against Oki round 1 of this world championship. I won, but he also placed higher than me technically at the end of it. So, and then the bottom left, this is a 3 versus 1 picture. It's me, Robbie P, and Sam. And this is the prototype of Boss Battle. This is before it came out. They tested Boss Battle with us. And I thought that was super cool. Also, some of their cards were insanely broken. I remember like there was a Nidhogg that had EX burst for both of the effects, and it was 3 cards and 3 cards in hand. I remember like a 7-drop Odin clearing the entire board, like all of our boards, just being a full board wipe for the opponent. I remember there being like a 6-drop Ice Ultimecia that did some stuff. Yeah, there was a Kuja that did some stuff. I don't remember all the boss battle cards anymore, but like, clearly this was like good for them for testing for the actual product. And it was also fun because this was something that we've never seen before, and it was a new way to play the game. So it was really, really cool that they used the Worlds environment for people to try it out. And then the bottom right, at Worlds, back then they to kind of break the ice and to get players to know each other, they would group us up with other regions and quiz us, and then whoever got the most correct answers got like a prize and things like that. And they gave out like full arts for this, so it was kind of cool. That was the first time I met Alex Hancox right there. We were on the quiz team together. And that man has a lot of Final Fantasy knowledge, let me tell you. I will say this, Alex. I have to say it. I'm sorry. We had a question of how many light and dark cards are there in the game? And he was so confident that he would get it right, and he was off by 1. So I'm sure nowadays if you asked him, he probably would know. But yeah, that hold that over you still, Alex. You had a better guess than I did. All right. So this is the start of the next season in 2023. Let me see. Looks like I don't have any pictures of this, but there were some re-raise events before this. It was basically events that happened before the new season started because like COVID was still going around, and they didn't want to make anything official kind of a thing. So it was kind of here's stuff to hold you over until the next season kind of a thing. I did go to 2 of the re-raises, but I don't have any pictures here in 2022. But this top left one is in Florida, the Materia Cup in Florida, which I believe I made top 16, and then I think I lost to Sam Tool again. If I remember, it was Magisa versus Warrior Light, and I didn't draw very well twice. I remember playing like a turn 1 Alphino on one of the games, something like that. I don't remember exactly, but I remember there's something like that. It was not good. But that's okay. Variance happens. It is what it is. And then the middle picture is Lone Star Pack Breaks first Materia Cup. and Sam won it. So around this time, me, Sam, Tool, and Ryan Chen, we talk a lot. We have been to a lot of events together. We've stayed together, um, and I feel like we also work really well together when we're talking about deck ideas and what we expect the meta to be and things like that. And since here, I would say maybe a little bit before here, we've just always been like a team in a way, I would say. I guess it's not really like an official team, but it's like a thing of like we will always talk to each other to make sure, we're all on the right page. Like Ryan is like a really, really good control player. So he has a good mindset of that. Um Sam is a combo player, and I'm also technically a combo player, but I feel like I'm a little more well rounded and more towards aggro in this game. So between me on aggro, Sam on combo, and uh, Ryan on control, we kind of have the majority of our bases covered. Sam also plays Warrior Light, so like that's another a mid range, So I'm normally not an aggro player. I'm a combo player in Magic the majority of the time, but um, combo decks in Final Fantasy they either tend to be bad or get banned. So and I picked up aggro because I feel like a lot of times with aggro, people think they can beat it because certain there's room to exploit the aggro decks, I should say. I think a lot of people either play them wrong or play them over aggressive. They leave themselves vulnerable, and I've noticed that, and that is really interesting to me um, because I'm a person who always wants insurance on my plays. So if I'm playing an aggro deck and I'm making plays, you better bet I have a plan B because otherwise I'm only making that plan A and being vulnerable if it's literally the only play I have. So I feel like a lot of people don't have a plan B when they're playing aggro, and that's kind of what made me explore playing it. So and in that tournament with Lone Star pack breaks, me, Sam, and Ryan all got first, second, third in Swiss. This is also the tournament that I went undefeated um, with Mono Water all the way till top 4, I believe. And then I lost. But then it was in top 4, me, Sam, and Ryan also made top 4. So it was kind of cool that we got first, second, third in Swiss, and then we also all made top 4. I thought that was really cool. Excuse me. And then on the right is me and Oki. Me, Lopez, Oki, and then my local CD. We all played Mono Water with Sildra, and this was before it was a deck. Technically, the San Diego event happened before the Texas event, so the right happened before the bottom. I changed like a couple cards in the bottom picture, but our win rate was ridiculous in the San Diego tournament. It was like above 90%. It was really, really like our losses were to each other and then like maybe one FF13 player or something. It was really crazy. That tournament was awesome. The tournament experience was awesome. Met a lot of people there. Yeah, it was good. It was also it's just always good being like first second with Oki because I also like talking games with him and working with him. It's unfortunate that he doesn't play very much anymore, but it is what it is. So, on to the next. All right, so 2023. and this is nationals, looks like. So we have oh, it's not three. Is it three buys? There's three buys last year, right? No, last year was a full. Last year was 2024. Oh my gosh, my head's not in the right place right now. Okay, 2023. Yeah, this was when we had three buys, and um, right? Am I crazy? No. No, this is when we had a day one skip. That's what this was. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, this was the day one skip. So, um, I unfortunately go 0-2 in this tournament. Yes, that's what it was. It was day one skip. Sorry about that. We had a day one skip, and I go 0-2 on day two, so I'm out. This was also a scenario where this is the first time I consider this like a scrub out. Did I make day two? Yes, but I also went 0-2 at nationals. That's the way I looked at it. The this was like really heart wrenching for me to go 0-2 because I felt very confident in my deck selection and my choice. I don't remember what it was at the time, but I felt very confident. And I don't believe I made any like major misplays. I did take some risks and they didn't pay off, but I still think it was the right play. So it was like just one of those things of, the cards didn't work out and it is what it is. But whenever something like that happens, I'm a little flustered because I'm always looking to learn. I'm always looking to better myself. And I can't do that if I don't think I made any mistakes. So this was a little tough one for me. And the picture on the right is a lot of us um, that travel all over the place. So this is a good picture for the end of the year. Pretty happy about this. Oh, I'm going backwards. There we go. So at the beginning of the year, I already decided to go to Japan anyways. A lot of us did decide to do that, and then some people qualified. And even though I didn't qualify for Worlds, I still helped out a lot of the Worlds players, and I met a lot of the Japanese players there, and it was a lot of fun. We ended up drafting, and I ended up winning the draft. And we draft like the foils and rares afterwards. So I won that Lev 9 full art Japanese. It was kind of sweet. All of us were drafting, and while Worlds was on, we were watching Worlds. So it was super cool to hang out with all the Japanese locals. All right, next. 2024. So 2024, going into the season, I asked myself a specific question, and it's a little toxic, but it matters to think about. And I asked, like, am I washed? I went to Worlds in 2019 because Oki already had an invite. I didn't get first place. I got second place and it passed down to me. Some people would say, yeah, I still earned that, but I didn't get first place. So you can look at it both ways, but my mindset's at that time pretty negative, and that's something hard to get over. So this tournament, I speak a little bit with Alex Hancock's about Wall 7 FF8. He's talking about it to me, and I feel like I make a really good version of the deck, and both me and Lopez play it. And Lopez lost round one, but other than that, his only loss was to me. I went undefeated the entire tournament. Um, I may have dropped a game here or there. I don't remember, but I didn't lose a match. And the furthest I've gotten before this was 10 rounds in a row. So this was all 12. And that kind of answered my question. Like, am I washed? Well, I mean, I just went undefeated. So no, I guess I'm not. But I also feel like I had really good variance that day. With both those days. I remember playing against Will in, I think it was round 3 or 4. I don't remember. And he's on Mono Earth, and I go like turn 2 wall 7, and I hit a Gilgamesh, and then I special because I have all 7 elements, and he misdragons me. And then the next turn, I don't remember exactly what I did, but I end up having all 7 elements again on the next turn, and I end up winning because of it. That's insanely lucky. I remember against Key in Top Cut. I don't remember exactly when, 16-8. I don't remember, somewhere in Top Cut. He goes first and goes Larsa for either Corolla or Ramza. I don't remember. Says go, and my hand is terrible. I have to jam wall 7 on turn 1. Just by the way things look. So if he has an Amaterasu, it's not looking good. But he doesn't. So I wall 7 and I hit Remedy, the old Remedy, and Mute, and search for Sid Randall and play Sid Randall on turn 1. And the Remedy is the one that if your opponent plays a character and it's not from their hand, they have to pay 2 or else break it. And then they both get +2 if they're, or sorry, they both become 8Ks if they're both in play, to Sid Randall and Remedy. So back then, Little Leela was a big out to Sid Randall, but it wasn't an out anymore because they're both 8Ks. That's insanely lucky variance. Like, I think his only out, I don't remember if he played Kuchel. I'm pretty sure he didn't play Kuchelin. I remember in my mind that his only out was Ramza doling 4 forwards, but that's so far away when your opponent has a Sid Randall and a Remedy in play. What else? I remember playing against Mike and him EX bursting like the first 4 damage, and then it not mattering because I had a really, like, I think he board wiped me even too. I don't remember the exact scenario. I just remember he burst 4 in a row, but then I won the next turn anyways. That's insane. So, I kind of felt in the back of my mind, maybe that was just my weekend. Maybe I was, the superhero of that weekend. Maybe it is what it is, I could have ran hot and played well, but it was like, I don't know. It was really nice because it was my very first like cup win. So yeah. And then I won my first LQ as well this year, 2024, in Omaha, and that was really cool too. I played a Earth Water Une deck with Mind Flayer, and I remember Mind Flayering Montleonis from Mono Earth and reviving my Une, and then I also remember taking a lot of Warrior Lights with it, and that was kind of absurd too. Yeah. Okay, so Worlds. So going back to the whole mindset of I didn't earn my invite. I didn't earn my Nats invites. I didn't earn, all that kind of stuff, right? I think it's important to acknowledge that you can have that mindset. But the issue with that mindset is, you did like I did qualify for Worlds, like via pass down. I twice. Like that did happen, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Pass downs are normal, and it is what it is. It's part of the system. Now, is it harder to get first place than it is to get second place? Of course, it absolutely is. But being somebody who's been won away so many times, it's kind of a toxic mindset that I have of, you know, it's not good enough, but it's certainly good enough. It's at the end of the day, you have a room filled with 50 to 100 people, only one person can win. Getting second is pretty damn close. So, and if it's not second, one away, that's really close. And I think that something that has helped me out a lot with this mindset of like fixing it and being better about it is my lady Lydia. Not this year, but in 2023 we started talking at the end of like when I was in Japan the previous year, and we've got together and we've done together. Things are going very good, and when I got second at Worlds, she was extremely excited, and my mindset, it's these pictures, I'm very happy, right? Everything's awesome. It's just in the back of my mind, it's like I was one away from first, and I was one away from having my name on a card. And those decks they're making for Hara for the World Championship, right? Like for the winner, I was one away from that as well. But at the end of the day, it's also a lot of things. There were a lot of things to think about. Second place is very good. I qualified for the next Worlds off of it. But, and then there's a lot of people who I bet would love to be in my spot. Especially with the pass down. So I've been a very big advocate of take advantage of the opportunities you're given. And I would argue that I was given this opportunity to play at Worlds, and I feel like I met that, take the advantage of the opportunity. I met that by qualifying for the next Worlds. So I don't know why I was so upset at myself for getting second. Second is very good. It's very, very good. Also, I don't want to take anything away from Hara. Hara played really well. I also think that there's a lot of variables in this too. So Hara played against me and Lopez 3 times in the event. So both like he played us both day one and in the winners and lower bracket on both of them. On like he played Lopez in the first and won, in the winners bracket first and won, and then played me later and then lost, and then played Lopez later and then won, and then played me and then won. So like he played us both 3 times. So, and me and Lopez were both on the exact same decks, card for card. So at that point, in a way, maybe he downloaded our decks. Maybe he's in the zone. He knows what to do, right? So there's just a lot to think about in that situation. There's also, variance in card games. A lot of it exists. It's like, so there was a round, I think it was the last round of Swiss, where Alex Hancock's conceded to an opponent. And doing that made it so he didn't go undefeated, but it also made it so that person makes it in the top 8. Hindsight, I don't know if he knows this, but I know this because I looked at the standings. Hindsight, if he still does that, if he concedes and I lost the last round, I get 9th place. I don't get top 8. And I was playing Chaos against Mono Ice, and I missed on chaos. I hit a Fujin and that's it, and I triple specialed. And my mindset is, if this guy has a Jill in his hand, the game's over. Luckily he didn't have a Jill, because Jill Shiva, right? Like kills my chaos, and then I discard my last card, whatever it was, or one of my cards, and he has a 9K, and I have no cards in deck anymore. Like it's extremely bad, and he just has to have this one card in his hand, but he didn't have it, and I won that game. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things too of just like, that tournament was the most intense tournament I've ever played in. A lot of the games, I would almost say all of the games were extremely intense, but also very fun. But it was, you could feel the tension in the air, but you could also feel like, hey, let's have a good game, you know? Like, yes, we're playing for high stakes, but let's also have fun. And I love that. Like, this world championship to me felt way more, what's the camaraderie was there from different regions, like way more than it was in 2019. I felt like I mean, there were people, I forget, I think it was Sasha and somebody else were handing out like snacks and stuff like that, and it was just like the camaraderie, like everyone giving everybody free stuff. I had, I was looking for some Japanese cards, and a lot of the Japanese players and community were giving me Japanese cards, and that was amazing. um One of my gifts to myself was to get a full limit break deck in foil Japanese, and I was missing some Tituses, and Hide traded me his Tituses for my English ones, and that was like super kind of him. Um, it was just a ridiculously like heartwarming and heartfelt. Like, it was just so. I wish I could have like enjoyed the moment for longer, if that makes sense. And then we were very close, me and Lopez, to getting first and second. Right? Like, imagine if Lopez won against Hara in the lower bracket, then the two same decks make it to the top two. And me and Lopez have worked together for so long in card games with Magic and Final Fantasy now, and it's just like, that would have been just, I mean, we're still going to tell this story when, 10 years from now, but it's one of those like, man, that it's now, it's like, man, that horror guy got us, but it could have been, man, we remember that tournament we dominated, like, it could have been that too. Um, but it was still very close, and it was still very, very awesome and amazing. Um, but there's still, that in the back of my mind, it's like, it's crazy, like how much could have happened and how much did happen in a sense of like, sometimes I really do feel like I'm in the right place at the right time. Like, I got 13th at nationals when top 12 qualified, but it just so happened that one person couldn't go, so I got to go. you know like, that's crazy to me. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next one. So here are the photos, trophy photos. And a lot of my friends from the States and from all over were taking the picture together. Yeah. So, what's in store for 2025? So I'm already qualified for Worlds. And a lot of people probably assume that because I'm qualified for Nats and for Worlds, I'm not going to show up to any events. At the moment, I am planning to go to the first 4 Materia Cups, but I will be judging the second one. So I'll be going to San Francisco this weekend, and then Kansas City's next. I will be judging that with Lopez, and then I will be going to Chicago and Texas, but I won't be going to the next 4. And then we'll go to the Nationals and see how that goes. Yeah. I want to be the best player in the world. I want to be the world champion. And that's my goal for 2025. I am going to do my best to be the world champion this year. And I'm given that opportunity. And if it's not me, then let's see you do it, because we need a North American world champion. All right. Thank you for watching.